Hey everybody. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've done a Facebook Live. Swipe left to reveal the comments. Who only knows who would jump in right now? Anyway, I decided to do a sort of video blog because didn't feel like writing today. But wanted to kind of address this very present feeling of being burnt out. I've noticed a lot of my friends and colleagues have, sorry, I'm trying to swipe left or right to just see if there's video, commentary, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, this part of the season especially, I feel like people do everything they possibly can to stay busy. A lot of work comes in, especially for people who are freelancers, coaches. The fall is the time to have awareness around things, and summer's kind of like your time off, and fall is like seemingly the time where most, at least New Yorkers and Americans, work their asses off. So, wanted to kind of address that because I myself have gotten so burnt out that I've needed to almost take myself off Facebook. I actually considered doing this on my regular page, but the thought of so many people watching, I just don't feel authentic in that space to even do that. So I'm going to go onto our page from my computer to see if actually someone is chiming in. Because it'd be nice to have a conversation than just talk to yourself. Just saying, you know. I don't even see myself in there. Maybe it's not happening. Oh well. Oh no, there I am. Hi. So having said that, I wanted to see if anybody else was feeling that. A lot of my coaches who are working with me in the leadership program, a lot of them are feeling really burnt out physically, emotionally, mentally. And how do you deal with that? What do you do when you just have no energy and you want to be responsible about it because you don't want to be a total douchebag? I'm going to have a beer while I talk to you guys. But in the long run, it's really hard to maintain a balance when, especially as a freelancer, where you are busting your hump to go and earn because you don't know when the next lull is going to be. But then your body tends to break down and your energy depletes, and the work you are doing is not the best it possibly can be because you're exhausted. So what do you do when you're burnt out? Now, first of all, let's look at how do we get burnt out, because the first direction to go in not being burnt out is, or healing it, is to try to circumvent doing that in the first place. So what has us get burnt out? So first of all, they call it burning the candle at both ends, right? Number one, getting burnt out is a cause of your mind working a million miles a minute. I personally find it hilarious that even when I do have days off, and maybe some of you guys are like this, I can't sleep because my brain is constantly. So I'll wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning and my brain is already thinking about all the things I need to do that day or want to do that day, or it's being consumed by thoughts. So I think having a practice where you quiet your mind is definitely something that could support anybody in preventing getting burnt out. So what does that look like? Not everybody is into meditation, but most people breathe, I think. I mean, I'm just guessing. Do you breathe? Because I think most people do. But breath in a conscious way is so much different than just breathing. Breath is healing. Breath expands your body. And breath also allows you to take a pause. So when I breathe in, this whole cavity of my chest fills, and I feel the muscles within me expanding, almost like I'm stretching from the inside. And also, I'm very present in my body. So it feels really good. I know sometimes it looks a little weird. I know my husband always laughs at me because sometimes I will not only breathe, but I'll make this sound as I'm exhaling. And he's just like, you're such a fucking weirdo. And I'm like, I know. But honestly, it feels so good to just let that energy out in a more vocal way. So I think the first thing to do is be conscious of your breathing, because short breaths give less oxygen to your brain, first of all, so it doesn't help you think. And not being present in your body and always feeling like you're floating from moment to moment to moment is also something that has someone always be, completely scattered. So I would say that's number one. Number two, how else do we get stressed out and overwhelmed and burnt out? I feel like being on automatic from the moment you wake up, being in reaction to whatever happens as opposed to actually sitting down and planning your day, even if your days are the same for the most part, I would say that even just planning out, what are the things that you need to get done at work? What are the things that you need to get done just today? Having that kind of come out on paper, like I'll often come to, this is backwards, I'm sure, but it's my little to-do list of things, people to pay, phone calls to make, just business shit that I gotta do. I think it just takes, did you guys ever see Harry Potter, where they take the pensieve and take the memories and put it in this bowl? Well, I feel like when our brain holds up so much information, it's so hard to sift through and be worried about forgetting shit. So taking your thoughts and putting them down on paper or journaling or something before you go to bed, I feel like that is super supportive in allowing your brain to relax. So that also helps you not be on automatic. It also helps you be intentional, which means you go into your day, you know what you want to complete, and then at the end of the day, you can look back and say, wow, look, I completed stuff, and it makes you feel better. So that's number two. Number three reason why we burn ourselves out, I feel it's because we're not taking care of our body. Our body needs sleep. Our body needs nourishment and food that gives us energy, and our body needs certain things to operate in its best capacity. So I'm a huge advocate on being super conscious on what I put in my body. Right now I'm I want to say kinda, because I do not want to ever call myself a vegan. Not a vegan. Definitely not a vegan. But I like to have my first choice of meal be a plant-based diet. So usually when I'm home, it's always vegan. But when I go out to a restaurant, it's just choosing things consciously and knowing that when I'm eating things, they're going to sustain my body and not deplete it. So like things with sugar, I love sugar in certain capacities. I love wine. I love eating my Baby Ruth from Halloween, little tiny packets and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of knowing how much sugar your body is taking, not just because it's not good for you, but your body rushes to process that. So it depletes your energy. So sometimes replacing like coffee with maybe a green juice. Doesn't have to be all the time, but honestly, if you are being conscious about the food, even on days where you have very little time, bringing healthy snacks with you and stuff like that. I'm the worst at drinking water. I'm just saying. So that doesn't help my energy either. I'm constantly feeling dehydrated and have a headache, and so that also depletes your energy. So what else burns you out? So, hey Stacy, how are you? Hi Anna. Rosemary, I don't know if you guys are still on, but I feel like also allowing your outside sources around you, your family and your friends and people who are around you every day, even your work colleagues, creating a boundary with them so that you can reserve space for yourself. I know I don't have kids, so I can only imagine what it's like to constantly have, little humans needing things from you all the time. But I do know when I walk outside in the world and I coach, leadership, and I coach my coaches who are coaching leadership, and I have a lot of people asking me lots of questions all the time. And sometimes if I don't create that boundary of space around me that allows me a quiet moment, I exhaust myself. So whether it is you go to a 9-to-5 or you're a freelancer or you're a stay-at-home mom, it's creating that quiet time for yourself consciously so that you have a moment to collect your thoughts, collect your way of being. That's really important because you can just run ragged all day long going by the requests and demands of everything around you, and before you know it, your energy is so... I don't know if any of you have gone to yoga ever and you've sat still in your lotus position and you feel your energy like this. It's usually because you've allowed people to, not just people, but yourself to get swept up in that. So it's really important for you to stop, look around, see what's pulling your attention a lot, and create a conscious boundary. So if your kids are asking you stuff and, or your husband's asking you to do something, or you're running around trying to get stuff done by a certain time, create that space where you're like, guys, I just need 2 seconds. Lock yourself in your room, lock yourself in the bathroom, burn some sage, do whatever it is you need to do to create that space, because you are worth it. And nobody can have the best of you if you don't have the best of yourself. So these are all reasons why we get burnt out. So in that process of me telling you how we get burnt out, I'm also explaining some possible remedies to that. But I think the main thing is to notice that you're not alone. Support is a huge element to one not being burnt out. You're also not alone in a circle of people who are probably also experiencing burnout. I was talking to one of my coaches this morning, and she has been exhausted and has said that she's overcommitted herself, and so part of her coaching, as well as going to work and paying attention to her health and wellness, it's just become so exhausting. And I think it's good to note that when you're in a space of always doing versus being, it's easy for you to burn the candle at both ends. Meaning that I know I need to show up here. I know I need to do X, Y, and Z by the end of the day. I know. And then you go and you do the things, and you do, and you're a do monster. But if you're not consciously putting an intention in the day, like, who do I want to be? Like, where do I want to show up, and how do I want to land with people in the moment? Because I'm sure when you're burnt out, your family notices and they don't get all of you. And there's an impact. So if it's not just for yourself, it's for the people in your life who care about you. Being really present on your way of being. So for me, I know patience is an issue. I'm ADD. My brain often wants to go to the next squirrel. And I need to be in that moment. Okay, I am a responsible, loving, passionate woman. And if I were that right now, like, how would I respond to this moment as opposed to reacting to everything? So at the end of the day, support is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Now, support looks so different in so many different ways. Number one, support obviously is the immediate family. Your daughters, your husband, your boyfriend, your fiance, your girlfriend. All of these people obviously are support. But you'd be surprised that even with these kind of automatic people in your life, people don't know how to ask for support in a way that they don't feel like they're burdening someone. So creating relationship with your family members on a deeper level, letting them know what's going on with you and not shoving it underneath the rug, because people often assume that your significant other or your kids or, your parents or whatever, you assume that they know. And if they don't know, you assume that they're too busy to hold your stuff too. And that's not true. I think that if you take the time to really be with the people you love and just say, hey, this is what's coming up for me right now. And what I really want to create in my life is I want to have more time for myself. I want to go to school. I want to go out to the bar with my girlfriends. I want to have peace of mind and centeredness. And I could really use your help in doing that. So what does that look like for you? I don't know. It looks different for everyone. I know when my husband comes home, what he loves and when he asks me is, could you just make sure the dishes are done when we get home? If there's something that you can prep for dinner, because he knows I'm not necessarily the cook in the family, although I do create some amazing vegan meals. It's not my go-to, but Charlie will say, can you prep the food, or can you at least make the bed? Something like he'll ask me support and not get mad at me because I didn't do it. He'll, take the time to actually make a powerful request of me. Also in the sense of when I'm coaching my coaches, as opposed to me thinking I have to do everything, I delegate responsibility so I don't wipe myself out. So there's that. And then there's also asking support of your colleagues. I know Caitlin, you guys may know Caitlin and Tara, they're my employees, so is Shalonda. And Caitlin often knows that in order for me to understand what needs to get done, she needs to break it down into smaller tasks, because if she gives me everything all at once, I get overwhelmed, confused, and I don't operate and finish them in a way that works. So by explaining as opposed to getting mad when someone doesn't show up a certain way, or them getting mad at you because you're not showing up a certain way, communication and creating that relationship is key. Because we're all here together. We're all one. We're all made up of the same stuff, and if we can exchange that energy rather than just hold it all to ourselves, which is not what we were meant to do, we can expand and release and let go and trust and breathe and focus. So that's pretty much it. I know that a lot of people want to do as much as they possibly can in their day-to-day life, because you don't know, or either you don't have a choice, or you don't know how much time we all have, so we all want to get it done. But there is time to sit and be. And there is time to create plans that let you see your day ahead of you. And there is time to breathe. And there is time to eat well. And there is time to do all these things, because at the end of the day, why does it even matter? Because you are here for a purpose. And if you're not able to fulfill that purpose because you have all this other shit in the way, it's frustrating. So for your peace of mind, and for the peace of mind of everybody who loves and care about you, take a moment, maybe journal some ways that you can do things different so that you could be much more relaxed, much more present, and not burning out on both ends. And that's it. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys soon. I mean, I'm hardly in this group and I feel really bad, so maybe I should change that. But I'll talk to you guys later.